Hi, welcome to the tea cottage. Come on in.
On the way to your brother's house.
Good morning. Today I want to share with you about Melaleuca, also known as tea tree oil. So you may have heard it called one or the other. Melaleuca is the scientific name for tea tree oil. So we're talking about the same thing there. And it's one of my top 4. If I had to have only 4, I would pick lavender, peppermint, Melaleuca, and frankincense. So it's one of my favorite. It's one of my top. And those 4, I believe, do the most things and are the most variable, that if you only had those 4, you could, support just about anything that came your way with those 4. So Melaleuca has saved my rear end a couple of times, probably more than a couple of times. Last fall, so right around this time last year, my husband was working on an organic farm to help with the harvest, and he was also helping a neighboring farm, and while he was helping there, he was cutting wire to make a chicken pen, and he was cutting it with his knife, and his knife slipped and went into his leg, and it was about that deep. It was about that wide. It was a very deep cut. He might have needed stitches, but my husband is one of those people who will not go to the doctor for anything, and was not going to go to the hospital to get stitches just because of a cut. So I was concerned about infection because his muscles in his leg were holding that together. So it would trap any of the bacteria or anything that might be in it. And it wasn't bleeding was the other thing. So you worry about tetanus and you worry about bacteria. And I had tea tree oil. I had Melaleuca in our home. And so what I did was I opened up, this really tested me as a wife because I'm a little bit squeamish, but I opened up the cut and I flushed it with Melaleuca and water. And so I cleaned it out really well with water, and then I flushed it with Melaleuca. And then after I was certain that there was no kind of infection, so we waited quite a while to make sure there was no kind of infection, and it started healing naturally on its own. Then I treated it with calendula to help heal the skin and scar tissue. There's my buddy again today. 1 second. Alright, and so the other thing that I've used Melaleuca for is for any kind of yeast. And I cloth diapered a couple of my kids. Now when I had the twins, that went out the window, but with single-born babies, I cloth diapered. And there's a lot of products that you can't use with cloth diapers, a lot of diaper rash creams and things like that would cause the diaper to break down or to have issues and would strip it. And so there was one instance where we were pretty sure that James had some kind of yeast or issue with his skin getting really sensitive, and tea tree oil is perfect for that. It has it'll kill yeast, antifungal properties, and a whole bunch of, it's extremely antiseptic. So tea tree oil is great for cleaning, disinfecting. It's great for killing any kind of bacteria or just anything like that. First aid care, it's wonderful for. So I do use that quite often with my husband for any injuries he comes home with, and for our kids for the same reason, and then for yeast and things like that in a salve. And it's also great for respiratory issues, and so I will put a lot of those uses under this video in your email, as well as a recipe. And I hope you are enjoying. We are more than halfway through, so not many more days of this, and I'm gonna miss talking to you each morning. I will see you tomorrow.